Go ahead and- Okay. Here we go. You know, if you can see the screen, let us know when you can see that.
We see it.
Okay. Awesome. So week 11.
Week 11.
And this week is about time conceptualized. Um, I don't know. I'm interested in what the men discussed this week regarding this. But the gateway this week was for the women was sacred time, which is also guarded by the guardian Sishat. So it was about a lot of our discussion this week was really centered around how we actually perceive time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And for some of us, it's similar, and for many of us, it could be a bit different. But all realizing that the way the world perceives time doesn't necessarily feel as authentic to the spirit. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much the page we went down. What was it for the men?
Ours was about the alchemist man of change.
Mhm.
So I wish Brother AJ was on the call. He's not on the call right now. I know that really took to him. He was really looking at that but it was about being with grounded in nature and learning yourself and understanding yourself, being influenced by the physical and vibrational worlds within
Okay.
yourself
Mhm.
as well as outside.
Right.
Um,
Much like our homework.
yeah, which
Much
I
like our
really want to hear.
homework.
That's
We're gonna get there for
yeah.
sure.
I definitely want to hear about the homework because there was
The
so many.
experience, yeah,
Yeah.
everybody
I know for
had.
what it was for us and how
Mhm.
it felt to be in it.
Yeah.
And I saw great pictures and everything on the chat. So I definitely want to hear hopefully more about that.
Okay. So we're gonna get started with, of course, we set our intention, which is to build a community and balance with the masculine and feminine energies. We aspire to end generational trauma in our communities through healing and growth. And growth. Okay. Now we'll call and repeat for our affirmation. Okay.
All right, here we go, family. I am open to the wisdom within me.
I am
I am
open.
open to the wisdom within me.
I embrace the path of self-discovery.
I
I
embrace.
embrace the path of self-discovery.
I am ready to strengthen my bonds with others.
I am ready to strengthen my bonds with others.
Together, we embark on this sacred journey.
Together.
Together, we embark upon this sacred journey.
Ashe, ashe.
Ashe.
All right. The curtain reveal.
The curtain
right?
reveal. Here we go.
All right. So, as promised, right, we said that we would start this week with cycling back to what our actual homework was from last week. So, pretty much in summary, it was for us to observe nature. I know in a lot of ways it's something that's pretty fundamental to how we all are designed anyway, especially within our group here. And we probably spend a lot of time in nature, but we had some very specific thoughts here to really get centered and grounded into for our homework. So starting with the breathing exercise as we entered into the nature space, whatever the space was that you chose. And then the relaxing yourself in your mind to clear any preoccupations and also distractions. That was the mindful arrival. Then we moved into the sensory engagement, which was to allow yourself to find your natural pace, right? Not to really be in a rush. Oftentimes when we walk, it's like we have some urgency.
Right.
We've got things to do, people to see, whatever it is, right? And so this was about really being dropped down into our bodies so that we were in our natural pace as we walked into the grounds, wherever you were, and then began to notice the sights, the sounds, the smells, the textures, the animals, the colors, the patterns, all the things that were in the space. So that all of that was part of the sensory engagement to pull that in. And then there was the reflection points, right? So they were broken out into adaptation, growth, interconnectedness, integration, and insight. And it was about noticing all the living things around us. So noticing how the plants and animals adapt to their environment, getting the cues from what we're witnessing in them to get a better understanding of our true self and what our true self wants to do. And how, in many ways, our natural self wants to be in alignment with what we were observing in nature. And then the growth. So it was about observing any signs of growth that we could see also in nature, like whether it was with the trees or plants or even insects. And then reflecting on what does natural, like the actual state of being natural and having an unforced experience in life, what does that really look like for us? Like, what does it feel like for us individually? And then to layer that, once we thought about how it makes us feel or what that experience is like individually, what is it that we'd like to see flourish and be nourished in the relationships as well, mirroring that the kind of patterns of growth that we saw in nature. And then we went on to the interconnectedness, which was recognizing the natural world and, how do we connect to it? Like, did we feel like we were a part of nature as we sat in nature? Did we feel like we were in addition to it, and in that sense, were we in the palm of it or were we like outside on the thumb? How did you feel in terms of your immersion into the experience? And then there was the integration and insight. And that was really about finding a comfortable spot to really just sit and then mull over all of the thoughts, take in everything, and then jot it all down. Right. Jot it all down to lock it into the memory. And then we concluded with a meditation, which would have likely been very different for each of us because it was about closing your eyes and really meditating on your own, visualizing your own natural presence and desires. And then there was the post exercise of in the days that followed that. So for us, it was the weekend. And since then, right, revisiting our notes and insights, and then just kind of seeing how we started to incorporate that into our daily life and establish principles for ourselves. So I don't know, I guess we could start off and then open it up to the family to share. What were your reflections, right, from your experience
For
in
me,
nature?
for me, it was so when we were sitting at the pond, whatever you want to call it, and all the geese were in their natural habitat, it made me reflect on how they maneuvered. And so for me, like I'm always in a rush or I have to be, punctual about certain things, or I'm looking to see what the weather is and adapt to that and everything. But looking at them, it made me just understand how you have to just live and flow. Like for them, they adapt to whatever is happening in the moment. There's no plan out. There's no let me check the weather if it's going to be too hot, if it's going to be too cold. If it's too hot, they go to the shade, they relax. Even how they kind of maneuvered with each other. Like some of them were, trying to get food from some people. Some of them was just relaxing to themselves. There was a couple of them like looks like they were playing or doing something or whatever. But it made me just think about my life and just say like, how can I live more in flow? And kind of take back some of the structure. Structure is good. But also I feel like you need time to just let go of everything and just go with whatever spirit calls. Which I thought we did actually the day before, which was good because we just kind of went with how the day was going and it felt good just to be in it. So that's what, besides sitting there and just listening to like the elements, the wind, looking at the trees blowing, really just trying to like take that in and be very aware of like my senses as that's happening. To feel just nature within you. But yeah, Sean Drake got the hand up. But yeah, that's what I was feeling.
Yeah. And it's funny because you and I, so we were talking it, like we were talking about it and speaking through it. And one of the questions that we started to think about was, do they experience stress, right? Like the
Mhm.
geese, right? So we're
Mhm.
like, well, do they experience stress?
Right.
And realizing that we weren't necessarily going to ask them,
Right.
we started to think about like, what are the indicators that we perceive as being stressors,
Mhm.
right? Like
Mhm.
to what proof could we maybe observe that maybe sometimes there's some stress?
Right.
And I recall having the thought that they're not like carrying things with them as they were kind of gliding about. They weren't carrying like a backpack with essentials or a
Right.
purse that had
Right.
all of the things they needed. It's they really, it's just them. They're just in a state of being.
Right.
And so it's really that sense of lack and scarcity didn't seem to be evident,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Like that idea of, oh, I have to bring all the things I need with me,
Mhm.
or I have to be storing all the things I need over in this space. Like there just weren't any signs of that.
Right.
So it was a beautiful thought to realize like you could just kind of walk carefree.
That's it.
How did I integrate that then in my post reflection? I decide, you all, that what was it? Actually, day before yesterday. So this was Tuesday.
Mhm.
That as I was coming in from work, I was going to stop in the mall and I stopped in a store and I was not going to take my purse.
Mhm.
Which, by the way, I don't know if it's just me, but as a woman, going any place without my purse feels like I'm missing. Like it feels like I'm missing like a limb almost, right?
Right.
So I go into the store and I realized how free I really did feel. Like I had my key and I had my card wallet and I had it in there and that was it. And I really did feel free. Like I didn't have to worry about it or, concern myself. And every person I passed asked me, "Excuse me, miss, do you work here?"
Because you didn't have your purse.
Because I didn't have a purse. So I was like, okay, all right. So that even that, right? So as odd as it may feel for me not to have a purse, it's even perceived by others as odd for me not to have it.
Right. Right. Wow. Hmm.
So just the idea that I wasn't carrying anything visible meant perhaps I might work there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so it was just an interesting thought.
Wow.
But
It is.
yeah. But Shot and Dre,
Good afternoon, everyone.
greetings.
It is evening. Good evening. So on on my little adventure with nature, I got it's everything happens for a reason.
Mhm.
My homework was I needed to be in nature. Of course, where I live, there isn't much nature.
Mhm.
But I had I don't know the word I'm looking for. I had like a hardship in the family where I had to go down south for a funeral. So now I'm just completely surrounded by nature. You guys
Mhm.
told me to go outside. This was going to take me 30 minutes or an hour. For 4 days, I was stuck in nature.
There you go.
Wow.
And when I mean nature, I mean I'm in the back of the woods. There's nothing around me. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything.
Wow.
Wow.
Like if you don't belong there, there's no reason for you to be there. Like you can let your kids run in the road because there ain't a car coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's like when you sit there and you take everything in, it's like more peaceful than anything. Like because
Mm.
I'm sure everybody here is not from New York. I live in New York, so I'm used to hearing sirens, somebody yelling, somebody doing
Yeah.
something, like
Right.
something's happening. Go
Right.
outside and just, that's the leaves?
That's all I hear.
I know. Crickets
Bugs?
are so
I
loud.
can hear the bugs flying by me. Like, that's
Right.
crazy. Like,
Right.
you take all that for granted being at home. Like, you see a bug and it's a swat. Like, you're not even seeing, like, everything is a process of life. Like,
Yeah.
everything has a meaning for it. Like,
Mm.
I'm sitting there, I was sitting under a tree, and it was like, my uncle has 7 dogs sitting there.
Wow.
Any dog that I know in my area is gonna bark, is gonna growl, is gonna do something to let you know I'm over there. These dogs are sitting there so peacefully and calmly,
Wow.
like they're just relaxed. But the moment they hear my uncle's truck, it's time to go to work. Now
Yeah.
we're balking, we're howling, and it's like we have an uproar, and it's like that's us with life.
Right.
Like we can be peaceful and calm in our house, but the moment it's time to go to work, it's time to do anything. It's just I gotta go, I gotta do it. Like, no matter what's going on, it's like you get that drive, and it's like sometimes you got to take a step back and realize like everything don't got to be a rush.
Ashe.
Time is
True.
time
Wow.
is the one thing that we take for granted. Like we're always when we're younger, oh, I can't wait to be older. I can't wait to be older. I can't wait to do this. And then when you get older, it's like, oh, I want to stay 12. Like it was life was more fun
Right.
back then. Like so it's like when you sit down and like you get a chance to like actually sit and think, you realize like you rush everything in life. Sometimes you gotta just sit back and slow down.
Yeah.
Ashe.
Yeah.
Ashe. Ashe. Wow, you know what's amazing about what you said, Dre? Um, so think about, especially us from like the New York or city type,
Mhm.
you get your norm is the sirens, the planes flying by, all the commotion. To the point where when you get in peace like that, your body doesn't even know what to do with it. I can remember going down south for the first time and going outside, like I couldn't sleep because it was just too quiet. I heard just crickets, and I'm like, I need like a plane to go by. I need some cars to drive. I need something because my body was not used to it. But it's crazy how that trauma
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
that chaoticness, how does
Mhm.
your body really sit in peace in the city like that? When you
Mhm.
now you start understanding what peace sounds like,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And
And what's interesting about that is for those of us that were born and raised, right, in the city, even in the womb, that's what we were
that's what you
hearing.
right. You don't know right. You don't know any
You
different from
know?
that. You feel that's the norm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's so interesting that even though that's the environment,
Mm.
and even though it's the environment we were born into, there's still a seeking inside for
Yes.
something that feels more like
Your
peace.
cells
Like
know.
you know it,
Yeah.
even though you don't
In spirit.
consciously know
Correct.
it always.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel like once you get into a peace like that, the way Dre was, your spirit comes forth and says, "Oh, I know
Mm.
this is where we're supposed to be," and that's the calm that you get because
Yeah.
you're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, I always say we're not supposed to live like this.
Yeah.
This is not the way we're supposed to live, but you know, it's the
Mhm.
environment that we're in. But wow, thank you for that share, brother Dre. That was a beautiful experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You know,
our condolences again to you,
Yeah.
and your family.
Yes.
thank you, thank you.
But
But it's
congratulations also on the reception of a new ancestor, you know?
Ashe.
Okay.
Ashe.
thank you.
Okay, so
Oh, she was
I didn't go down south. I stayed right. Um, and it's funny. So get down. Drake was he called me as he was passing all these different fields, and actually he called me. He's sitting on this thing where he's looked like it looks like a you know like a how a tire swing would look.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It looks like that, but it's not actually a tire. It's some other type of
It's
material.
ropes.
Look like right. So he said it was ropes.
Mm.
And he's like, Shy, it's so peaceful, it's so this and so that. And I was like, well, maybe you should do your homework. Right?
Ashe.
Um, and he was like, well, I don't have no paper. And I was like, did you read the homework? It says you can do your phone. Record. But yeah, so I was actually, so I was here and because I was here, I didn't have Andre. I just took the kids to the park.
Mm.
Right. And Roy Wilkins Park near us, again in New York. I'm sitting in the park where there's jungle gyms and swings and slides. However, outside of that is fields and a pond and trees and geese. So we can do a little bit of both. I can sit here on this end and I have my journal. I can see you as long as you're within my sight, but I can also have a little bit of time to myself.
Right.
Because Addie was being a great big sister and she's just pushing her brother on the swings for me. So to give me my time. And while I'm sitting there, it's like I hear the dirt bikes and I hear the four-wheelers. And to me, it's like, I guess because this is where I'm from,
Mhm.
it's like all right, the weather has broken, right? People are outside. This is for someone their peace, right? And riding on those dirt bikes. To me, it's like, all right, it takes me back to summertime as a kid, as a teenager, sitting in this same park with my friends, hanging out or whatever. So I get to reminisce just a little bit while I'm sitting there. And then I start to actually take in nature itself. And as I took in nature itself, I mean, I wrote some of what it is that I was feeling while I was in the chat. I wrote some of it in the chat. But basically, the first thing that I wrote was, as I observe my surroundings, it dawns on me that nothing in life is constant but change. Alani.
Hey, come here.
Oh, my
Mama's
bad.
trying to do something.
So yeah. So I wrote like the trees lose their leaves because there's trees here. Some trees have not yet started to bloom. Some of them are still just sticks from the winter. Others are starting to bloom. I'm starting to see burgundies and different colors. So some of the trees have still lost their leaves. Some of the animals are now are building their coats back from them, or they're shedding their coats that they have built over the summer. Plants are adapting for the next phase. It's just realizing that all of these things have had to shed something in order to blossom into their next season, their next phase. And realizing that I need to allow myself to shed so that I can rid myself of what no longer suits me so that I can also blossom and grow within that next phase.
Yes.
And the next thought was that nothing happens in just a day. So patience is key. As these things are shedding, it takes a season. It takes time. And each one of these things is on its own time. And although the time itself is linear, the growth is not. Right? So allowing ourselves our own pace.
Yes.
And also that I wrote, there is no rush. Right? So I'm here in the city listening to the bikes go by, but I'm still realizing that they might be going fast and they're having a good time, but I'm still not in a rush. Right? I can still be in peace, sitting here with the things surrounding me and being mindful enough and centered enough to feel it. And did I write anything else that was off of that? And the last thing that I wrote was, I remember that it is important to go with the flow of life. So yeah.
I say, wow, good stuff.
It's amazing how so many of the buzzwords are all similar, even though we were in all different spaces.
Right.
Right? Like that's just that natural state that we're seeking. So Ashe.
Powerful message. I mean, to understand that everything in nature even has its own pace.
I love that
for
reflection.
growth. I love that reflection because that was something that's key for the kings as we're going through this. There are brothers that are, looking for their breakthroughs. Some are having them, some are looking for it, and it's everybody has your own pace. Just have the patience. The time when it's right will be yours. But just keep doing the work, keep being in the journey, and connected. So I thought that was powerful, really powerful.
Ashe.
And you know what else really quick too? Like, I don't know about anybody else, and we'll get to everybody, but I know for me, because we had that reflection, and part of the homework was later on, right, to sit back and reflect on what you wrote. When I sat back and thought about the things that I wrote, I felt like I was back there. Like I can envision it in my head. Like I had nature in my head all week. Like I can really envision, and even now, like visualize sitting at the pond and the air going. Nah, I was
Mhm.
gonna say not through my hair because I don't have no hair, but yeah, but you know,
I was gonna be a
but,
beard.
yeah, but feeling the air, like while you're out there, the sun was on us, right? So you
Yeah.
felt the warmth of the sun, but the wind was blowing, and just so when I feel like I want to always keep that in my visual because when I'm in those chaotic moments at work or in the office or whatever,
Mhm.
I have that. That's part of my meditation. Like I can sit there and put myself back in that
I love that.
mode.
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
One of the things when I was sitting there as well that I loved seeing in nature also were other families.
Yes.
Like other families, other couples taking the same time out to do that, or seemingly whether it was grandparents and children, but a mix of adults and children,
Mhm.
just kind of in a state of being and enjoying
Mhm.
being out like that. I love just having the thought of knowing that there are these seekers among us that are all looking to experience
Yeah.
that in that way. So yeah, it was beautiful.
And I feel like the spirit is different when everybody's out in nature like that. Like it feels like everybody's a little more calmer,
Yeah.
right? And maybe more nice to each other in that type of environment,
Yeah,
So yeah.
Brother Truth and Sister Constance, greetings, greetings.
And they are in nature, right? So they have nature all around.
Yes.
Greetings, family. Greetings.
Greetings, greetings.
So Brother Truth and I, we kind of did our thing a little separate. So I went on my walk first and I just stood out there listening to the birds and hearing the trees. And I'm looking around going, okay, this is a lot. Like the wind's blowing and I'm feeling, I'm just feeling like, okay, I'm a part of all this. I created all this. Like I put down in my notes, like I created this. How it reflects me is I created this years and years ago to realize that I am everything and everything is me, that I am the creator of everything that is within and around me. So that was just awesome. Then as you could hear while I'm out there recording, there's bugs flying and I'm really trying to be calm. I'm like, okay, I'm really not gonna, let me do this video so I can, make sure everyone gets to see my calm around me. I can't go crazy, but it was really, beautiful just to see, like right down at the end of a road we have a little stream that's kind of like created its own, it's a natural spring that has sprung up and we get to see the water flowing every day and it's like, that's me. That's me. So that was my experience, really just realizing how much I am and everything and how much I flow like water, how much I blow like the wind, how much I sway like the trees. I am adaptable to all and everything. And that's what I found. That was me.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
Wow.
I love that. I love that
Yeah.
reflection. And it reminded me of James had mentioned, he's like, we live right across the street. Like we were literally right up the street. You know what I mean? So it's like we could be really taking advantage more often
Right.
of just really being in a space where we ground in that way in
Yeah.
nature. So to your point, Sister Constance, it's like having that moment of gratitude to be like,
Yes.
wow, this is the experience that we have manifested over some time. I love how you put that,
Right.
that there was steps that you made in order for this to be your life. You know what I mean? And
Right.
there were steps that we've all made in order for this to be our life experience. And so I appreciate you.
Coming from Denver, Denver was where I lived. In Denver, I lived like 3 blocks away from one of the biggest hospitals and Flight for Life. And I was right down the street from the fire department, right down the street from the police station. So I had sirens going, helicopters going, always noise, always something happening. And to come here the first year and it's quiet. I mean, nobody, unless like if you don't know, we don't know you, then you shouldn't be on this road.
Right.
So that type of thing. And just the family orientation, everyone around here is families, everybody's cousins, everybody's somebody. And that's a good feeling, because in Denver you don't, you know, you don't really know who's your next door neighbor. You don't know anyone around you. So I do like that sense of a community, of family, of people that are connected, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's just time for to be connected on the conscious level, where we have the community of everyone
Yes.
that's
Ashe.
on the vibration level of a different stature. So
Ashe.
Ashe.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's you.
And there that goes. Well, I am going to strive to be brief. And but that was a lie. I'm not.
I was about to say, just be you, brother. True. Don't
Yeah, that's why I said
be
that's a
in
lie.
flow.
No, but the reality is I would like to begin by reading something from our Arit, number 11, The Alchemist Man of Change. The alchemist man is a potent transformer. He possesses the ability to move and to transmute energy in people, places, and things through, key term, through his thoughts, actions, and deeds. He offers a different perspective, envisioning possibilities and solutions. He relishes in the power of constructive change, empowering others to be their most magnificent. She expressed that we did things separately, but we didn't. We did things as ourselves. I allowed for her to be herself, to do her thing. Because there are many times that our queens don't experience that. They feel controlled and puppeteered, and I have to do this to try to please this, and to do this and to do this, and I got to do this to please the children and make the children. But it's like, when they are allowed to just be you, you can say I'm going slow all you want. It's okay. You can say I didn't get there when you were ready. It's okay. But the reality is, it was only about Sister Constance being able to experience reality from her own mind, not mine. Because sometimes my mind can be very dominant. My experiences can be very dominant. And it's very important for her to go out into nature and to actually have the experience of, I don't like the bugs. Even though, like, they don't bother me. I was born and raised in this. I was born and raised in this. So before organic became a term and profitable, I was organic. So it was very important for her to actually have the experience, to have her experience, untainted by me. So her experience in the country is a little rushed because she wasn't born in this. So she has to acclimate to this and the bugs and all the other different things, and be okay with, like, man, I don't like the bugs. So you can go on out there if you want to, but I'm gonna be up here. Like one of our neighbors, someone I grew up with. It was funny, and we used to go on walks together.
We were bike riding. I was bike riding. I'm gonna just tell myself we were bike riding, and I had my net. I had a hat on, and I had one of them nets that come around like a bee's hat. And so his cousin, and she started laughing at me. She drove by, she drove up laughing, and it's like, but this is, this, no, I'm good. So, but yeah, to be out there, and it gets quiet sometimes. When I get out there, I'm like, what am I gonna do
and
here?
she's just
And I told you,
chatty talking. I'm like,
I said, I'm
hey.
gonna buy me a chainsaw, and I'm gonna start cutting down all these little trees and setting a fire, because I know how to make a fire. I like that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna find something to do.
Right.
But go ahead.
No, but dealing with the homework. The first thing is, when we arise, the first thing that we are aware of is that there are birds singing to us. Actually,
Yes.
they're the night birds here. They come out, they're actually out now, but they come out in the evening time and they begin, and it's like there's a rhythm.
Yeah.
And actually, it's like when you listen to it, there's 4 chirps, then there's 3. There's 4 chirps, then there's 3. But as it gets closer to sunrise, then it becomes 3 chirps, and then there's 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "You're crazy." I was like, "No, no, no." I'm like, listen. But I wake up to birds chirping every day. Like they're singing. And it's like they're basically saying, "Come on out."
They're telling the other birds to come on out.
No, they're telling me to come on out. You know, and that's how I receive it. I receive it as such because nature is so beautiful.
Right.
To have the opportunity. When I first look, I had no clue I was coming back here. I graduated on Friday. I left on Monday, and I was gone before I came back for about 20 years. So it was not in my intention to come back here. So even when it was time for me to truly come back, I had a whole different plan, a whole different intention, and yet I still ended up back in Alabama, where I grew up, literally minutes away from where, when I was brought home from the hospital, I'm like 2 minutes away from there.
Wow, that's
Literally. And so one issue that I had when I first came back was actually connecting. This is Mother Nature, and why am I not experiencing what people pay for? People pay to come where I live. And why am I actually not experiencing it? Why am I bothered by it? Why is it that it's like the bumps in the road bother me? Why is it that the drive bothers me? Like people actually pay to come where we live. And I had to truly let go of some things to be able to reconnect with nature. Because the fact that I was born and raised here meant that I was actually in a safe space.
Yeah.
I was protected as a child because we know what the cities brew. We know what is bred in major metropolitan areas compared to what is actually bred and developed inside of, rural areas. We'll say it that way. What they call paradise. If you take the term paradise and what most people depict, it's it's the wilderness, it's nature. And it's like, wow, we live here like for free.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing. One of the things that came up in our circle as the brothers is one of the brother Jamil introduced earthing. He brought it to our attention, and it's grounding yourself, taking your shoes off, getting your feet on the ground, and the scientific effects that happen immediately when you do that.
Right.
And so I actually did that also. She was upset. She was like, "Well, when did you go outside with your shoes off? When did you do?"
He had a video of it. It was just too long for the chat, you guys.
No, I didn't put it on the overall chat. I put it on the brotherhood because that's where it came up.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was real. And to have that experience was like to walk down the hill. The same video. It's the same video. It's just the video with me with no shoes on.
Yeah.
And sinking my feet into the sand, sinking my feet into the different textures as I walk down the hill. There's sand, then there's dirt, then there's rock, and then from the rock I go back to sand, and from the sand I walk out, and now I'm actually in water. I'm actually placing my feet in mud. So you saw it, but you didn't see it from the standpoint of me connecting with it.
Right.
But the reality is like, wow, there were so many. The one thing that I strove to show on the video that I put in the Divine Collective was the different textures of the terrain.
Mm.
What was the effect that the water had on the terrain?
Right.
The water affected, like I haven't fixed our road driving up. Sometimes we're trying to drive up the driveway and we're going sideways, but there's a reason that I've left it the way it is. And that's to bring attention to water is not from this environment, but water has a major effect on this environment. Water's natural environment is where? But when it actually comes back down, cycles back down onto Earth, it has the ability and the capacity to shape and mold. And I say that to say this to the sisters. Water is an attribute that is usually associated with women. And I'll yield because I think that's enough.
Ashe.
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 Ashe. Powerful, Brother Truth.
Receive that.
Powerful. Wow.
Receive that. That was a lot.
There's a
you
lot of
know,
good stuff in
so-
there.
So,
Oh,
so
man.
many gems.
Yeah.
The first thought that really struck me that you mentioned, Brother Truth, was when he said, because his experiences can sometimes dominate in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I tell you, this is your brother. This is your brother. We we sat in the park and I was in the middle of just kind of taking in all of the, everything I'm observing. And it was quiet. And it was like he just injected his visualization right into mine. You know what I mean? So it was like he started talking. He's like, you see the geese are just, and I was like, wait a minute, I wasn't there yet. Like I was over here, right? And my natural attention was being called to the ground, the grass, and he already had me in his experience. And so you said, Brother Truth, that so often we as women find ourselves trying to yield in those spaces, and then we're not able to experience in fullness our own authentic experience.
Yeah.
That resonated deeply. So here's what I did, y'all. So I said, you know what, babe? That is so interesting. I think we should write it down. Talk about it.
That was excellent.
Before we talk about it, he was like, yeah, okay. And then he started writing.
Then I was quiet.
Like, and then he was quiet because he was writing. So I was like, back to where I was with my thought and my experience in the ground. So it struck a chord because I was like, wow, it perfectly articulated exactly how I felt in that moment because I felt like my experience was being hijacked, but the nurturer in me didn't want to in any way cut his thoughts short. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful.
But I did want to have mine. So I give thanks for you bringing that clarity to that moment and giving words and language to what that experience felt like, because
That's
it was
beautiful. That's beautiful. I would like to say one thing in relation to that, and that is the art of being a woman. Because I'm a water sign, I'm familiar with the divine feminine in so many different ways, and that is the actual art of not taking something from the divine masculine, because the alpha is the alpha. It's not going to change. But it's about being so wise and intelligent. The way Queen Afua says it, it's like she can just, and it's like we're all right there. Yes, man. What do you need? Like literally. And that's the wisdom. That's the wisdom. The wisdom of the womb man to actually give the man exactly what he needs in that moment.
And for me, that takes work.
Yeah.
Myself, I have been working at this for 3 good years. So keep on working at it. So Tanisha, you might get some more of those calls.
Okay.
I need that savvy kind of thing, I need that soft thing.
She was so good at it. I'm telling you, I didn't know that happened until just now.
Right. But
Wow.
She
that's
just
the
told, like
beauty
she
of
didn't
it.
even bring that out until just now, and maybe I'm like in shock. I'm like, because now
That's
I
how
see
good
it.
it, that's how good she was at it.
No, for real. Like I'm sitting here like, wow, I didn't even realize I did that. But
Right,
now she said it, I'm like, oh shoot, I did. I was dominating the experience in that moment. But how beautiful, and I love you for it. I appreciate
I share
it.
you.
That you didn't even have to say it in the moment what you was doing.
Mm.
Brought peace to us and brought me to my experience. Because when I started writing, I dove even deeper into it, but it brought you the quietness that you needed.
I
And you
share.
didn't even mention it afterwards, you
I
know,
share.
which is the most humbling part of it, because
Mm.
you didn't have to
Right.
bring it, you didn't have to bring it back to me and say, look, you see, you dominate. No, you didn't do that. It was brought up on the call, and I'm thankful that Brother Truth brought it up because it's organically brought up. But it makes me even appreciate how you are and the way you move and your thought process. And even I appreciate that. That was a moment for me. I appreciate it.
That's very good. That's how you.
I share. I share.
Yeah.
But I am so grateful that Brother Truth allowed permission.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For
Oh
that
yeah.
discussion, because I was like, wow,
No, that was
yes,
good.
yeah.
And this bears witness to the necessity of community.
Yes.
If we don't have it, because we don't have it now in our present environments, we're trapped, we're suppressed, we're angry, we're frustrated. We do all types of crazy things just to get our space
Yeah.
the wrong way.
Right. Right.
And even now, even though it's digitally, just for now,
Right.
quote, quote,
with you. That's right.
community is necessary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you. Thank you.
Ashe.
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 And in the chat, we got going on in the chat. So so Shy J says, so Shy says, I'm not a fan of bugs either, sis. Constance. She says also, our son takes his shoes off every time he plays
That's
outside.
it. He does. He
Yeah.
does. Yes.
James does too. James is always walking barefoot outside.
Yeah.
And then Queen Alicia says, absolutely, Brother Truth. Great share.
Yes.
Brother Manifest says, redirecting Brother Pope to himself.
Ashe.
To himself.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did. Yes, you
I
did.
appreciate how you worded that.
Yes. Yes.
Sister Alicia said, yes. And Sister Constance, that part, softness is working progress. Yeah, and working progress. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love those comments. Love those comments.
Ashe. And I know we had
Sister
Sister
Tasha.
Tasha's hand up. I know that went down. And then we have Brother AJ also.
Greetings. I had to find my phone. I'm using my earpiece.
Greetings.
How's everybody?
We are blessed.
Blessed to be here. Blessed to be here, sis.
Great, good. So this is awesome. So my experience was a little bit different because I had my boys with me. So me, AJ, and the boys went outside, and I find myself in the past, I would say probably past 2 months, like yearning to be outside in nature. Like one time I went out with my sister with the yoga mats, and that was much more peaceful, and I can hear and I can listen. I actually fell asleep. So this time was still very serene for me because I felt like a kid again. Like I totally disconnected from everything, all the things, my mind, me and the kids, and we went outside, we was in the park, and the boys was like, let's play tag. And I'm like, okay, not to know that there is no timeouts in tag. So I'm like, there's no base. Like, is this a new thing? Like, and just running with them and feeling the breeze. And when I wasn't playing with them and they were playing basketball, Monty just sitting there, I could hear the birds and just hearing. There was nobody in the park but us, so that felt peaceful because it felt like it was our place. Going from the swings to the gym, the court, then walking around the trail. And so I didn't get to really like meditate but it still was very calming and very I was very connected. So that's just my share. It just was, I felt like a kid again. I felt like there was not a care in the world.
I
Wow.
love that.
That's meditative in itself.
Yes.
You know, when you can actually connect to, you know, that feeling of being a kid again,
That inner child.
that is meditative in itself, you know. Wow, thank you for that share, sis.
Because the adult in you got to rest.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the
Correct.
adult in me was paying for it in the morning. I'm like, the next morning, I'm like,
Running, right? Yeah.
Well, there was no base. That's the issue, you know.
what's this came from no way?
There's
Can't
no
be from running
Right.
it.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
but it was beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Amazing.
That
And
that
what divine timing that you all would be there at a time where the space was
for
just yours.
themselves. Yeah.
Yours.
Yeah.
All for you all. So that is beautiful.
That is.
Good thanks.
That is.
Brother AJ, greetings, greetings.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, brother.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. It's funny because I didn't even connect to when we went out that Sunday to it being the homework. I guess I'm just so slacking on doing my homework that just like your wife did for you, Pro. Tasha eased me into this homework, right? Because we went to the park. No, she didn't mention anything about doing the homework or anything else. But on the other side, I actually did settle in, and when I was talking to James on Monday, we was talking about the work, and on my lunch break, I kind of experienced a breakthrough. So one of the things that I've been struggling with getting the work done is the reading, right? And in the beginning, I always talked about, oh, I struggle to read. And being in my authentic self, I'm clearly going to say right now that I just don't like to read. I just don't like it. It's not entertaining for me. It wasn't something I learned to do fundamentally as a kid, but it never stopped me from, reaching the goal of learning, right? But at the same time, I do realize how much information is in books, and that's the greater part of pushing me, to become better is understanding that I have to do this work and I have to read. So on my lunch break, I went to the park, and we had a park that's like 5 minutes from our job. And I was walking through the park with the book, and I didn't realize until after I got out of the park. I only got an hour lunch break, but I wasn't there for maybe about 20 minutes. I read through the entire read as I was walking through the park.
Wow.
And I was like, maybe my connection to actually starting to build the fundamentals of reading is to take my butts to the park.
I
Right? All right. So I wasn't barefoot like Brother Truth and some of the others, right, at that time, but I still connected. I got a little bit of video of me walking through the park and reading. And again, the biggest part of it to me was that I actually read through the entire read, right? And sitting down trying to read or putting myself in a different place to try to read, I never was able to accomplish that in one just like pass through. So that was a breakthrough for me, and understanding that maybe that might be the source that I'm challenging to help me get through.
Ashe. Look, as we are thinking about what are reads and gateways, we're choosing our ascension. And if this is the gateway that this
brother
occurred
AJ,
in,
brother
like,
AJ said when he came back from the park, he said to me, Brother Pope, I think this is it. This is my read. I said, yeah, this is it. He felt connected. That's why I said he wasn't on the call earlier. I was like, oh, it's Brother AJ, because I knew that he connected. Yeah, I knew he connected with the read. And I'll just say this, Brother AJ, you say, and I get it, that you haven't been a reader in the past, but as you saw, your environment is key. So if you take away all the distractions, because what I hear is you took away all the distractions, it was just you, nature, and whatever it is that you wanted to absorb in that moment. So that sometimes that's what it is. We got to take away our phones, take away this, take away all the distractions, and that the entertainment becomes whatever it is you want to absorb.
I'm gonna go bigger. I'm gonna go bigger. I'm gonna go bigger than the actual distractions because I've sat in a quiet room, phone somewhere else, and have not been able to accomplish what I class. So I'm gonna go bigger and say it's the environment,
Environment.
Wow.
Wow.
right? It's the environment, right? So um, I'll follow up with y'all, let you know how it goes.
I
Hey, brother
So
Alchemist.
this is an expansion, right? Even on what Brother Truth was sharing that from your call, the men's call about earthing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because there's to Brother AJ's point, right? He wasn't barefoot, but he was bare.
He was bare.
He was
Right.
bare, right?
Right. Yes.
So and he was in tune and taking in
Yes.
the nature
Yes.
around him in his environment in a very sensory way
Right.
that it inspired this. So wow, what an
Wow.
expansion on the idea of what earthing can be,
I
even beyond the barefoot in the grass.
I'm excited because I can't wait now to hear where brother AJ goes with this as he puts himself
Yeah.
more in nature and the growth from that.
Oh
you
wow.
know?
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Man, something with you guys about what brother AJ was saying.
Yes.
Absolutely, brother
Yes.
Manifest.
Greetings, Brother Manifest.
Peace, family. When brother AJ was talking, I kept hearing, nature doesn't judge us, right? And so sometimes we could be in a quiet room, like sometimes in classrooms, they'll be like, okay, it's reading time, and you just sit there and you read, and some people they could do it, right? But I think that, for some of us, we've been through trauma with reading. We've been through trauma with like schooling, and some of us have experienced, things that have created blockages. And so to be in an environment that doesn't judge you, that doesn't look at you as less than, and if anything, it tries to remind you, hey, this is your home.
Wow.
So maybe he wasn't barefooted, but maybe he was barehearted. He was just open to what's.
Love it. Wow. Wow. I say, brother man. Thank you for that share, brother Manifest.
Wow.
Where's the flex bomb for we need one of them DJ Funkmaster flex bombs for that brother Manifest.
That was beautiful.
That okay, so now that's again the word, there's always those words that come up. That's
Yeah.
another one we gotta
Somebody write it down.
Yeah. We're gonna put it in the chat. Barehearted. That was
barehearted.
Barehearted.
Wow. That was amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing. Give thanks for that share, Brother Manifest. Please drop that in the chat. Put that in the chat. We just need to memorialize that word. Barehearted.
I love it. Like thinking about like that, what Brother AJ's saying, like, when you connect like that outside, like I said, that's why I'm excited for him, because I know for me, just thinking about that, I want to go to the park and I want to go read in the park. Now I want to go connect and be in nature, because just like we was talking about, that environment of us just sitting there and you think about how you are and how much everything connects with you because you're back at home.
Yeah.
Right. Back in your environment. I want to go there. I want to take my shoes off. I want to get I do it in the backyard, but I want to go out to the park and put my feet in that earth.
Yeah.
Right. And walk through those environments like Brother Truth in the different elements and see what my sensories come up with.
Yeah.
I was telling the brothers on my call, I've been looking up a lot of Buddhist stuff, right? And they were talking about meditation. And meditation not in the form of just sitting in silence. Meditation of, it could be anything. It's sensory. So they were talking about even when you chew something, stopping to chew it slowly and taking in each chew and flavor of what you're eating, the texture, the taste of it, and really taking that moment to like get your senses going in what you're eating. To the point of, even they said, walking. Going outside and walking, and not just taking steps, but taking your shoes off, and not just what you're walking on, but each step you take, feeling your toe pressed down, your heel pressed down, and your senses going. And I said, I want to go out and do that. And I was telling the brothers, I'm like, my neighbor's probably looking at, look at this weird guy. What's he doing out there?
We're not worried about
but
it.
I was like, I don't care about that. I'm not gonna be judged. So I'm gonna be in the park with my shoes off, with my book in my hand, getting the senses. All of this is just like,
amazing.
It's exciting.
Amazing.
It's exciting.
I love this. I love
Barehearted,
this.
yes.
Love it. And Sha found the bomb emoji for it. Okay. Thank you, Sha and Dre. Greetings, Sister Letitia.
Greetings, everyone.
So my share is more asking for guidance from the community, this village. Um, just before this call, I was late because I had some conflict, right? Um, and it was part of where I feel that I'm going to ascend in sacred relationship, in addition to the space that I am in my life. I made a conscious decision to move from the city. So I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and I decided to move upstate New York, where I'm constantly sitting with nature. I go outside and I work and I'm sitting and I'm hearing the birds chirping, and that's what I love, you know. So this evening, you know, sacred relationships, dealing with my siblings and my mother and my dad. So my mom is going to be 60 years old in June. So it's the planning of the birthday party for my mother. And my middle sister contacted me and she's like, well, what part are you going to play? So I wasn't involved with the planning about where the place is going to be, but I started asking all of these probing questions on where the place is. Share with me, the address and so forth. So she shares. But then I say, she said, we're going to rent out the lower level, which I'm fine with, but there's an upper level. So my next question was, will there be another party that will be at the same time as we're going to have a party for our mother? And this is in Brooklyn on Nostrand Avenue. I grew up in this area, so I know what it's like, right? But again, I've been where I live now for 8 years, so I'm conditioned to my new environment. So now I'm trying to prepare myself mentally for what's going to happen in June. So I'm asking these questions. Will there be another party going on upstairs while we're having a function for our mom downstairs? Right. So my sister says to me, well, that's irrelevant. What is that? Why does that matter? Well, it matters to me because there will be a function going on upstairs, a function going on downstairs, and now there's different individuals crossing paths. So now I have to really understand what I'm getting myself into. Do we know that? She doesn't know. She says to me, I feel like you're inserting yourself and you're making this about you. This is about the experience of mom, and we're having this party for her. So take yourself out of it. But it's uncomfortable for me because I need to know the environment that I'm going into. I remove myself from this particular environment for a reason. The setting, I don't like it. So I need to know, is there a separate exit for each party that's going on? And that turned into, because I've moved up. So her response was, because I moved upstate and I've been in this particular environment, now I feel like I'm better than they are, that they're still living in the city. And I feel like I'm better than them. And I'm like, it put me in a spot like, this is not about me, but I still need to prepare myself mentally for what I'm going back into, because I now have adapted to a new way of living, you know? And why I understand that you still live in the city and you're used to the hustle and bustle, but I'm not used to it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm asking these probing questions so I can understand and know what I'm getting myself into, you know?
Yeah.
But the messaging wasn't received, right? Because you don't have the same experiences that I have, right? You're accustomed to the environment that you live in, but I'm no longer accustomed to that way of living. So I'm really trying to prepare myself. Um, I became very emotional because I did go back and forth a little bit, and then I had to catch myself and I said,
Mhm. It's okay. Sending you my sis. We are sending you my. It's okay to allow an emotion to rush up and out, to release it. The community is backing you in the moment. You are strong. We're sending you Marsas. Okay. In this moment, you know, it looks like we have lost connection with Sister Letitia, but we know that that's a technology connection and not an energetic connection. So we're definitely holding her in spirit, and we'll actually circle back. We'll cycle back to that thought that she had when she comes back. So just sending us much more in this moment. We all just would energetically send light and joy, comfort and peace as we've been pouring into ourselves. We have ample to share. Sending some of the abundance of our light and joy into her way and her being.
Yes.
Giving thanks, giving thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, it is challenging when you have been building your life in a way that illuminates the joy within you, and then you have to return to spaces that that remind you of the darkness, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
It's a difficult transition at times.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And was there anyone else that had anything else on their heart to share regarding this? Oh, Sister Letitia is back with us. Not that you ever energetically left.
Well, oh,
A
yes.
microphone. She's coming back in. Brother True, Sister
I
Constance.
think he's trying to say something to Sister Letitia, but she back.
Okay,
She's back.
she's back.
Sorry, I think I'm back on. Sorry about that. I don't
Mhm.
know what's the last part you all heard, but it's a struggle for me to um balance the two, right? So, you know, where I live now, this is my peace. When I go back to the city, I feel like I have to put my guards up
Yeah.
and prepare for the hustle and bustle that I'm not accustomed to anymore. And my family doesn't see it from the same lens that I see it from. They see it as though I think that I'm better than they are, and that you know, my lifestyle that I live now is just better than theirs. But I've never said these words, you
Yeah.
know, and it causes that wedge, you know, between us. And I know this is a you know, milestone birthday for my mother, but I still have to prepare myself mentally for what I am going into, because I know the area, you know, and then my mom has her restrictions where she wants to stay closer to home. So it's like she's not even open to the opportunity to go somewhere else that may be a different, you know, different area that's maybe more uh relaxed, you know, or not so much of a hustle and bustle, right?
Yeah.
So it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Um, but I found myself prior to this call, and it's funny that we're having this conversation about nature. I'm constantly out with nature all the time, and that's what I love. But when I have to revert back to the city, even to go to work, it's like I have to prepare myself mentally for it. It's a lot. It's a lot, you know. So I struggled with that before the call, became very emotional because I allowed myself to get pulled in. And I'm like, hey, you're doing all this work on you. And I went back maybe twice, back and forth twice. And I caught myself and said, you're doing all this work. That's not the right thing to do. Accept this person's perspective, extend grace to them, and then
Sure.
sing it for yourself and move on, because they're not seeing it, they're not receiving your messaging. And I had to sit with that for a minute.
And I'm going to say to my husband, I know he's not on this call and he's out and he's working, but I called him, and through him doing the same work, and even though he is not on every call, but he listened to me, and he was able to hold space for me and just provided just that comfort and security that I needed in that moment, because it was overload for me. You know, it was a lot, you know. So I'm still grateful for him. Um, but I still need to find that balance. I still need to find that footing on how to manage that. So I'm leaning to the village, my community, to help me through that.
Ashe, Ashe. It says, in the interim, right, when the connection was lost, we were mentioning that it's challenging, I think, I know I can say for myself, and I'm sure you're not alone in this space, right? Or you and I are not alone in this space, that it is challenging when you establish a space that feels like light and joy and peace for yourself, and then you have to return to a space that didn't feel like that, right?
Yeah.
A space that felt, like a reminder of the darkness. But the thought that I invite you to, and you tell me if it's something you're open to, right? But the thought that I invite you to is, when we sometimes use words like we need to prepare, right? Like the word prepare, or we need to manage, the word manage, or we need to protect. Sometimes what we're really experiencing is that we need to control. And we call it things like we want to manage, we want to prepare, we want to plan, we want to think ahead, we want to make sure of, we want to protect, but it's actually we want to control, and I would say, if that is a thought that, and like I said, I invite you to, but if that's a thought that in any way resonates with you, tend to think about what parts of that experience do you desire to control, and what is actually within your control and what's not. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep,
So,
I received
for
that.
example, yeah, like your choice on whether you attend or not. Now, that's going to be an item that's, of course, within your control, but it
Right.
may not be within your control to decide, to be the decision maker on what space they occupy, and,
Mhm.
and how comfortable can you get with not being in control of that. You know what I'm saying?
I received
Because,
that.
because to your point, right? Like, and you're not alone, because I think this is why as sacred women, we say we bring the light to the darkness, because there's always going to be one or
Mhm.
two and more, right? We multiply, right? That bring that into this space. But I invite you to the idea of recalling what Brother Warren shared with his brothers, right? About the light that he is witnessing in you, the joy that he's experiencing from the inside out in you. And I invite you to thinking about what a gift it would be for your presence to show up in that way, carrying that light into the darkness.
Right. Yep, I received that.
Yeah, because sometimes we can't, it's the telling. Sometimes we can't tell people that they need to see things a bit differently, but we can show them just in our way of being. There's without a doubt, there's no doubt in my mind, your sisters see you and don't get curious about, what is Letitia doing that's different?
Right.
What is
Right.
she doing? And then that brings them into the light rather than you having to kind of drag them into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I received that, sis. Thanks.
And I'll just add on, Sister Letitia. I am one who struggles with wanting to always look at where are we going, what it's going to be like, because I don't like certain things. Like, I'm at an age now where I get anxious about certain things. I'm not with the crowds. I'm not with certain things. So I'm always trying to look to see, like, hey, wait, what's going on there? Like, where are we going to be? What's this going to happen? Like, who's going to be there? All those things. That drives my anxiousness just crazy, because I'm trying to think about things beforehand. And like past weekend, one of the things that I told my queen, that I wanted to do, and I was trying to be intentional about it, was to not control anything.
You
Just to
did
be
say that.
just to be in flow with what was going to happen. The only thing I controlled was I know I wanted to take her to this vegan soul food place, and I wanted to go to a park. Other than that, wherever we ended up going, we was going to go. And as we was walking in the park, she turned to me and she says, you're all right? Because I know like these type of places, we went down and we had a long walk. I don't usually do the long walks. I start getting hot and I'm like, whatever. And then we're getting down to this marketplace and there's a bunch of people around. And it's funny, when I drove past the marketplace, I looked at it, I was like, man.
My eyes lit up like, ooh.
I'm like, no, she don't want to go there. I don't really want to go there. But I'm like, you know what? Get it out your head, Jay. Get it out your head, because we're going to be in flow. If my queen decides that's where we're walking to, we're going to get there. So as we're walking there, she's like, you good, babe? Because I know like usually don't like to do these things or whatever. I'm like, nah, let's go. We good. I'm good. And then we get down to the marketplace and she's like, I'm so proud of you're doing that. You comfortable? I say, no, I'm not comfortable. I did not say I was not comfortable.
He did say that.
I'm not comfortable, but I am committed to being in flow. And I understood that even in my uncomfortable state, I needed to be there, because one of the things that I keep reading is about stop running from the uncomfortability. Learn how to calm my mind down in those moments to say, I release, I let go, and I'm in spirit of the moment. And when I was able to do that, even when she brought up to me about that, I laughed to myself, because I'm like, you don't know what's going on inside my body.
Right.
Right. But that even the awareness of that, laughed to myself, and it calmed me down even more. And I just like, you know what? And I released it. Now, again, I'm not saying that it was not discomfort at times. But again, I was intentional and committed to being okay with the uncomfortability for the sake of being in flow and being in spirit. And it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend. A beautiful event in itself. So I only say that to say that sometimes when because we're doing this work, embrace whatever it is that we find uncomfortable or what we want to control about what we're going to. And when we can release it, not again, they will still have those feelings, but being aware of those feelings when it come up with what's happening. That's what's in our control.
Ashe. Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you, Brother James. I received that.
Well, y'all birthdays are right there together.
Yes, right. Right.
And and just to add to what James is saying, and by the way, we were in Brooklyn, and we live on Long Island, right?
Yeah.
So the experience of what we're experiencing on a daily out here is very different. And again, here we are now in Brooklyn, which is where you're going.
Right.
To add to that, let me tell you about the divinity in all of this. So as we're walking towards the marketplace, like we're literally at this point, maybe just steps away from it, we're going over an overpass, like a walking overpass. And then there's a underpass where people can walk underneath, right? And James just said, what's over there? Like what's down on the other side of this overpass we're walking on? And so he looks over and guess who he spots? Like literally right beneath us, right in the same space of this huge park, Prospect Park. But Brother Manifest.
Wow. Wow.
Brother Manifest, right? So even in that, it's like the support, your support shows up. Energetically, in this huge park. What are the odds of that? You know what I mean? Even the experience that James just recently had, so that's so in alignment with what you're, preparing, right? We're gonna say with the air quotes, preparing, right? We're gonna actually get intentional about, right, being in the flow. You know what I mean? But even that, right? Everything we need is in the circle. Everything we need is in the circle. Brother True said it earlier on the call. That's what this community is for.
Absolutely.
So,
And when you're in that moment, sis, if you need us, we here.
I'll be on your phone. Speed dial. Thank you. I receive it. Thank you, Ashe.
Ashe. You're gonna walk in there with all your radiance, and they're gonna be like, "That's what living in the bush does."
Right.
That part.
Living up there with live, that's what this does. Having that kind of a glow comes from that level of peace and being away from this experience. So I'm sure they'll be curious.
If I may share,
Sure.
I would say, you know, sometimes those scenarios are also perfect for us to like it's us experience. It's our experience, right? So it's like, what is it teaching us in that moment, right? And a lot of times it could be, you know, teaching us what we are no longer, right? And just giving us an opportunity to be so grateful for, hey, I don't fit in anymore. And that's okay. You know what I mean? You know, maybe I'm not doing this anymore, and they're still doing. That's okay, right? They're in their journey. They may feel a little slighted by the way that you show up, but that's okay, because they're going to at some point realize, oh man, that's what the sister was doing. She was just seeking herself and seeking loving herself and building herself, and that's what she was working on. You know, and even if they don't come into that realization, it is not your job.
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
What was saying,
Wow.
brother manifest.
Yes, I received that. Wow. Wow. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. That was beautiful.
Mhm.
Thanks for that, brother manifest.
Brother Truth.
And brother Truth, sister Constance.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. Is brother AJ still here?
Yeah.
He is.
Brother AJ? He may be offset. I I really needed him to say something. However, it's okay. Um, I'll lead in by saying this. I'm your brother first, Sister Tisha. Letitia, excuse me. I'm your brother first. I am truth.
I'm here, brother Truth, when you ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just needed you to kind of preempt on brother truth before I started talking because it. I don't want it. You already know why. I'm her brother, and I'm gonna tell her the truth. But I need it to be. I need her to understand that it's not just with her. It's just who I am. So, what
So
is?
I'm just gonna jump in and say whatever brother Truth is getting ready to vibrate to you, this is coming from the most up the most uplifting. um his name being Truth. I just don't want you to think that he's gonna sugarcoat anything. But if you receive what he says, I'm sure it's gonna dominate the feelings that you're having right now. I've spoke to Brother Truth last night for the first time in the last 12 weeks that we've known each other. And in that 1 hour that I received, and we had a strong dialogue. It wasn't like he was just talking, but I truly divinely understand why his name is Truth. So whatever he says is not coming from ill will. It's coming from a source of getting you the information that you need to get over those feelings that you're having.
Ashe.
I say.
Okay, I received that. And brother Truth, I'm here for it to receive your messaging.
Yes, ma'am. I say, brother AJ, I appreciate that. And I'm gonna start off by saying you are better.
Wow.
You are better. Constance has just started studying the Kabbalion. And one of the principles of the Kabbalion is the principle of polarity.
Yes, yes.
And I'm gonna start off by asking you to write this down, if you will.
Absolutely.
At some point, inside of the principle of polarity is introduced about a spectrum. But at some point, I was at my worst. But my objective is to be at my best. Now, what comes in between my worst and my best? I was bad, not my worst. I was just bad. Then I was good, not my best. And after good, I became better. And after that better, I was introduced to my best. You are better. Why are you hiding that? Why you want to shade that? Why you want to cover that up? that you are better. You are better. You saying, well, they say I act like I'm better. No, I don't act like I'm better. I am better.
Yes.
Now, if you're acting like you're better, then guess what that means? You're only doing it to make them feel bad. But that's a question you got to ask yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're right.
And this is a principle that you always have to take with you in your arsenal. People will weaponize your truth against you if you allow them to.
Yeah.
Oh, you acting like you better than me. No, I ain't acting like I'm better than you. I am better than you. And I'm inviting you to better. That's not arrogance. That's truth. The truth hurts those who are not ready to receive it. It don't hurt you. The fact it's only hurting you because they're weaponizing your truth against you.
Yes.
Don't allow that. Hey, y'all not gonna do that to me. Oh no, we're not gonna do that. I am in a better place. I am experiencing a better life. I am experiencing a better mindset. I am experiencing something better. Do you want it? Do you want it? Now, if you don't, you now have to be okay with that and not try to force it.
Okay.
All you're there to do is shine the light on the fact that there is something better than what you have been experiencing. And guess what? The Most High has taken someone from your own family, from your own DNA to bear witness to you that it is true. It is an opportunity for you to have something better.
I received that. Brother Truth always have the word. Every Wednesday, I'm on the phone with today's Napoleon, and I'm like, Brother Truth, like you have me breaking down words at work. At work. I receive your words. I appreciate it. Ashe. Wow.
Your thing is, you get upset when you don't know how to cause someone to change. The key is you don't need the how is you changing.
Yes.
It's not force. Force doesn't work with the righteous, with the divine. We are the light. We're shining the light on the path, showing the way. We have to allow them to take the actual steps. You want to force them. And that's the key that you have to learn about you. See, this is the part that I needed you to be prepped for. You're very forceful. You're very dominant. You have been a dictator in your life, but are you ready to receive the fact that you've been that? And now you're still doing that. You can't bring that inside of your righteous life.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just about I bear witness through my own actions, through my own deeds, through my own words, through my own feelings. Accept it if you will. Leave it alone if you will. And be at peace with it. Is not your responsibility to make anyone change. 3 principles. Ask, knock, and receive. If you don't ask me nothing, I ain't talking to you. If you ain't knocking at my door, I'm not opening my door. So why am I doing all those things if you have not initiated my response to you? I'm not justified because I don't have a right to strive. You have free will. I have no right to strive to make you do anything. None of us do. That's why we're just sharing information that was shared with us that we found to be true. And with that, I'm at peace.
How you feel, sis?
I am forceful. I am very dominant. I receive your message in Brother Truth. Thank you. Ashe. feel lighter.
Okay.
I feel lighter.
Mm.
I felt lighter after speaking to my husband, but bringing it to the community and the village also, I feel even lighter.
Yeah.
Ashe.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Brother AJ in the chat said, "Go shine bright in Brooklyn."
That's it.
All capital letters.
That's it. That's it.
Ashe.
And Dre and Shaw said, "Don't feel guilty for knowing better and being better."
Mm.
Ashe.
Ashe. I love everything
Ashe.
about the delivery on that, Brother
Yeah.
Truth,
Yeah.
because it's true, right? If we are ill and one person gets better,
Right.
there's no shame.
No, there's not.
There's no shame.
I took that message even for myself, you know, with what I'm going through with my family, you know,
Yeah.
and just, you know, being better, you know.
That's right.
I say, Brother James. Brother James, you're doing a wonderful job. Cut it out. Brother James is showing up and showing out.
Now, I appreciate you, Brother Truth. I appreciate you. But your words, your messaging, I always say, when we share,
Yeah.
there's multiple people that receive messages and
Yeah.
everybody share.
Yeah.
You know,
Ashe.
that's why I always love when everybody shares, because there's so many people that can receive the message
Yeah.
for what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
You know, so I say, and
Ashe.
Sister Letitia,
It's just so beautiful.
listen, sister, you see it. Thank you for bringing that to the community, Sister Letitia, because
Yes.
Definitely. Most
yeah,
definitely.
this is what the community and the village. This is what it's for. This is family.
Absolutely.
This is family.
You'll get the truth.
That's it. You'll get the truth, and truth will set you
But
free.
you get the love as well.
Right. But that truth, see, remember that
Mhm.
saying, the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
I understand that saying more now than ever.
Mhm.
Freedom of self,
Mhm.
freedom to be authentically you, freedom to be better,
Yeah.
and okay with yourself being better.
Exactly.
True freedom.
Exactly.
The truth is the truth.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, like I mentioned as well, it's about really looking at the word choices, because
Mhm.
I'll tell you this, I was also one to say words like prepare,
Mhm.
manage, protect,
Mhm.
when in reality, it's just because it sounded better than saying I want to control.
Right.
I
Right.
want to
Right.
control. So
Right. Right.
yeah, when we think of those, when we think about those words, just questioning the thought.
Right.
So you are in amazing company, sis.
Yes.
The family has got you. We have each other,
That's it.
and
Yes.
we are reflections of each other. Everything
it.
that you are, I am, we all are.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's showing up too, right? So I think this is probably the second time this week you said that to me, Tanasia, when we're conversing, right? And it brings me back to sacred word, right? So I constantly, and I know that I'm a lot better. Like I'm always wanting to be in control, and it resonates with me because that is who I am. And I'm trying to strip those layers, little by little, but it still shows up because that is who I am authentically. Um, so I receive it. I receive it. And I thank you for continuously reminding me of being mindful of the words that I am speaking. So I appreciate you, sis.
Oh my goodness. I love you.
Wow. The flow of
This
the
is
call
just,
organically is
let me tell you,
amazing.
we never made it past the first.
I know the first, right? The homework.
We didn't even get into any slides, y'all. Can y'all believe that? Look. This is divine timing.
I was gonna say this is divine. This is it.
This is being in flow,
This is
right?
no
We
control.
surrendered
That's
to
it.
the flow of this call
That's
for
it.
the entire 2 hours we've
I
been
know.
together, completely surrendered. And it was by opening the portal of rebirthing through our nature
Yeah.
observance and
Yeah.
observation. So I give thanks for the sharing this
Yes.
evening. This was just beautiful.
This is it.
This is beautiful. And wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brother True said earlier, right? This is community. This
That's
is
it.
community.
That's it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Again, Sis Letitia, we're here and thank you for your vulnerability.
Yes.
And thank you for being a demonstration of
Yes.
what it's like to be unapologetically yourself, right? And to lean into your community with the questions that are raised in your spirit without having any ego associated with
Yes,
that, right?
yes,
Without
yes.
allowing, there to be any messages in your mind that says, oh no, I can't reveal this
Right.
about myself.
Right.
Like, it's kudos to who, it's a real testament to who you are, at your core. Authentic is what you are.
This is what I love though, because
Yeah.
throughout these 11 going on 12 weeks, you build this core, right, of family that you're it's safe. You know they have your best interests. And in spirit, different weeks, things show up.
Yeah.
And you see that it's okay to share.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's more than okay to share. I need to share.
Yeah.
This is where my healing is.
Yeah.
So
It's
I need
beautiful.
to.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And then can I just say also shout out to Brother AJ,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
For I think sometimes we may not acknowledge and celebrate enough how important it is to have the person who steps out to give the disclaimer.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Really and
Yeah.
truly. Like, it makes a difference. It really makes a difference in how the messaging is received. And
It
so,
is.
Brother AJ, for you, I don't know if you knew anything about what Brother
Yeah.
Truth was going to say, right? But you had the understanding in your own relationship with him that you knew whatever he would share would be truthful and honest and may even cause a sting, but that it would also be in love and fullness in the messaging. And so you stepping in to say, sis, I want you to know
Right.
that this is where we
Right.
may be going, but you're
Right.
safe. You help to create the emotional safety
Absolutely.
for that moment to happen.
Absolutely.
For Sister Letitia to be ready to receive, and for Brother Truth to be able to give it straight, no filter,
Yeah.
no chaser, in a space that was already laid out and called out as safe by you.
Ashe.
So give thanks to
Ashe.
you for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that just real quickly, that was just a personal declaration. And it was right on time because the conversation that we had was yesterday, and he delivered. I didn't know what he was going to say, right? And as blessed as he is to do what he does and what he's been ordained, I mean, he's been doing throughout this community. I was 100% confident that he was going to give her what she needed, and
Sure.
she got what she needed. So I say,
Ashe. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is just it's just mind blowing. So giving thanks again, Brother
Yes,
AJ. Look,
yes.
we're not gonna hold y'all all night, okay?
Right.
Because divine time is also,
Yes.
realistic time, right?
Right.
For us all. But I want to move us through some of the things that we really don't have to spend a lot of time
No.
discussing because we already have
Divine.
organically.
That's it.
Organically.
That's
Okay.
it.
So number one, we talked about the a read for the brothers was the Alchemy Man of Change, right? And Brother Truth read for us a bit about what that meant in terms of the transmutation, right? And then I'll share also that the Gateway of Sacred Time, which is the shot for the sisters, is about really putting an emphasis on our natural connection as the feminine to the cycles of the moon, to the cycles of nature, through our own womanhood cycles, right? And then these are the words, okay? And we'll definitely share these into the chat so you could do a deeper dive, but it's very symbolic of all that we've already discussed, quite honestly. So these were the words that we dove into in terms of exploring divine timing. So first of all, the origin of the word time, the origin of vibration, right? And then the origin of life. And to find that there was so much symmetry in all of this, right? Because what is time? What is a vibration? What is life? It really is synonymous for many of us in a lot of ways. So the word time originates from Old English word, which really meant a period or interval. That's it. Don't have to overcomplicate it. It doesn't mean 12 p.m. It doesn't mean noon, midnight, whatever. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means a period or an interval. A period or an interval. And then vibration has its roots in Latin, in the Latin language, and to vibrate was associated with waves, right? King here was talking about being in flow, okay? So the waves, the flow, so to speak, right? Oscillations is what they would call it, right? Like if you can think of an oscillating fan, that's the vibration. So today vibration is used to describe back and forth, a rapid back and forth movement, right? Whether it occurs in the physical objects or waves or so to speak. But in its origin, it just meant movement, waves, flow, right? Then we've got life, life. And the word life has its roots from the Proto-Indo-European words, right? Which meant to adhere, to stick, right? And to stick. Adhere and to stick. And so life is associated with an idea of persistence, continuity, right? We know in oscillating, there's continuity. We know in time, there's continuity, and reflecting the enduring quality of living organisms. So in its earliest usage, life referred to the state of being alive or the condition of living organisms. That's it. Just being is living. Being is living. Okay. So that's the breakdown on that. And then as we think more, and our homework we'll share as well, but as we start thinking more about how we spend our time, what's our natural vibe, right? The natural vibration, and how we want to spend our life. So you know how when we think of in death, there's this hyphen, right? And many of us have heard the phrasing around there's the year that you were brought into the physical world, and then there's the dash or the hyphen in the middle, and then the year that your physical presence ends. And in that dash, that's the time. That's your vibe. That's your vibration. That's your life. That's where it happens in the middle. So when you're thinking about your natural vibe, when you're recalling the homework that we did last week, what are the things that came to the surface for you of the way you would like to be, right? Spending your time, the way you would like to be spending your time, your truest self's desire for how you spend your time. And when you think about that, right, when you break that down, now we're compartmentalizing it between, is it an area you want to seek improvement in? Is it an area you want to seek refinement in? Or is it an area that you want to seek enhancement in? Right? So what are the differences? So the word improvement comes from the Latin verb, which means to disapprove, to condemn, really and truly, right? So at the beginning and end of all, when it comes to improvement, it's what is the thing that you want to end the cycle of within your being? What is the thing that you are currently doing, experiencing, perpetuating, whatever it is, that you want to release completely because your current self no longer approves of it? You want to disapprove of it. That's the area that you'll seek the improvement. That's where you're going to do the improvement, right? Now, when it comes to refinement, it means to purify, to make fine, okay? It's a Latin verb. It means to not only improve, but to further sophisticate it. So now that means it's not that you disapprove of this. So if this is another item in your life that you're experiencing, you don't necessarily disapprove of it, but you want to look at it closer. You want to investigate it closer, and you want to refine it to really sophisticate it. To really sophisticate it, right? That's where the refinement comes in. It's the calling to the higher level. It's bringing the thing that you're doing into its highest elevation, right? That's the refinement. And then enhancement. Enhancement means to raise or to heighten. So that may mean for us, right? There's something that I'm doing when I'm doing my assessment of my time. There's something that I'm doing and experiencing that's working really well for me. And I want to seek increase in that space because it will enhance my being, right? So keeping it simple, if earthing, as Brother Truth brought forward earlier in the call, if earthing is something that grounds my being, puts me in a state of joy, puts me in a state of presence, and I want to enhance my life by continuously doing that more frequently, right? I'm going to inject more of a frequency in that. That's an enhancement. So it's the thing you're already doing that you want to level up. You want to increase the frequency of. You want to experience more often. Refinement is the thing that you're doing that you really want to get more clear about, and you want to polish it up and make it even more sophisticated for yourself so that you can enhance your life. Improvement is the thing that you no longer approve of experiencing in your life, and you're going to part from. So those are our deep dives, right? And of course, we'll share this link. And then what we'll do is we'll share these actual slides in the chat so you can go through them even closer if you'd like. And so the homework is to embark on a journey of self-discovery and mindful reflection about how you want to spend your time, and begin by itemizing your typical day. So here's all the things I do between my rising and my setting. Here's what I'm actually doing, and document everything. I did this, I did that, I made this telephone call, whatever it is. Documenting your activities, jotting them all down. And then going back now to look at that list and asking yourself the question, how much of my time is currently dedicated to joy-bringing activities? So here are all the things that I'm doing, but how much of those things bring me joy? And then make another list of the things that you know bring you closer to your natural state, you know make you feel more alive, you know illuminate joy in your spirit. Make a list of all of those things. And then the question is, how do you devote more time to doing that? How do we work it in? How do we devote more time to doing that? And then the last question would be, are there tasks that could be streamlined or eliminated, right? So eliminated, we already know that's the improvement. Streamline is where we're talking about the refinement, right? In order to make room for the enhancement, right? The more fulfilling activities, the enhancement of your life. So any initial thoughts on this homework assignment? Or even on the words that we did our deep dive on this evening. So we're going back to improvement, refinement, enhancement. Any initial reflections? Yeah. Chandre. Look who's visiting. Look, y'all. Look. Look.
Hey, Grandma.
Hi, Gemma. Hi, Rue.
For me, thinking about the homework, it's like, I want to improve. I don't even know what to call it. So, well, it's been showing up for me all week, but it's getting my children to and from school. That dynamic, I feel like needs refinement.
Okay. Okay.
I am not sure yet of how it can be refined, but I'm positive that there is a way that it can be done. And I'm trying to release or improve the need to rely on people so often. It's like I value community and I value it when it feels authentic, like when you feel or genuine, like when you're asking for help and it feels genuine in a space versus having to rely on someone because of the environment that you're in, and it doesn't really feel good, you know, or it feels like it has run its course.
Mm.
And there needs to be a change, but you have to find where it can be and how it can be in a way that is still
Yeah.
financially affordable, but also comfortable for the
Yeah.
children, and convenient as well.
Mm.
And so it's been showing up. It's
Okay.
been showing up, and I've been thinking about it. So I'm gonna have to do it. I already started journaling about it because, like I said, it's been showing up all week. But
Right. Okay.
these here questions to give me a better deep dive into what it is, or compartmentalizing, you know,
Yeah.
what it is that I'm feeling and how I can maybe apply it. Because yeah, something has got. I keep saying something's got to give, but yeah, there's some change that needs to be made there.
Ashe. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there more to that thought? Okay. Okay. Ashe. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that resonates with me, and I'm sure with others, the idea, like you said, of yes, having community, but having genuine community, where the support feels like love and not like strain. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
I shade to that.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially, I don't know. It's like I feel like when it's not genuine, it's very clear
Yeah.
that, or when it's felt like it's run its course, it's clear how some people can try to handle you
Mm,
because they know that there is a reliance, like there's this codependency,
yeah.
and I don't like to be handled. And when I am handled, it doesn't usually, my reaction is
Mhm.
normally way different than how I've been handling.
Mm.
So I feel like, okay, so I see growth there too. So I'm like, okay,
Okay.
we're
Ashe.
good, we're doing this. Um, but I just need to find that clarity on the redirection.
Okay.
But I don't like to be handled. And I feel like when you're now telling me versus having a conversation where we can both be, or anyone, whoever, where it can be a mature back and forth of, okay, this is what needs to be done, this is how this needs to be done. And you're now just telling me, oh, I need this because, but
Yeah.
where's the consideration for the things that I need,
Mm.
right? So,
Ashe.
yeah.
Ashe.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because support and favors are two different things, right? Ashe. Okay. Thank you for that share, Sha. And I see here in the chat, Brother Truth, it looks like it came through as a direct message to James and I, but Brother Truth has also asked a question. I think it would be great to even drop this into the Divine Collective, Brother Truth. So it says, after tonight, can we explain to ourselves what our community, capital letters on community, looks like, feels like, and will be like, right? Physically, emotionally, psychologically. So I think that falls in line with exactly what you just expressed, Sha. You know what I mean? Like recognizing that there's the communities that are around, and then there's the communities that really feel like community. So Brother Truth is calling us to ask ourselves to really define that. And so I think that's a really beautiful reflection. And Brother Truth, would you mind to drop it into the collective chat too, so that
Yes.
we
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. This is wonderful. And I'm gonna first off and foremost say I love you all, and I love, like, look at Brother James. Because he's not just my brother. He's not even my elder. He's like my peer. And there's so many things about our lives that we don't know about each other because we have not yet begun to be community.
Yeah.
So when I look at him and I see him holding his, I have 4 grandchildren that I've never touched, I've never seen, I've never even spoken a word to. So when I see him experiencing. I don't think individuals can even understand what that means to be a grandfather, and you're held away from the full reality of being a grandfather. And to observe a grandfather being a grandfather for the first time after he's been kept away. I don't understand that. I'll tear down walls for him to continue to have that experience.
Yeah.
Like, look at him. Just experience. That's a meditation in and of itself.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, it is.
And that's just, I mean, that's not like anything. That's just like, man, come on, that's real. And look at her. She's so comfortable. She's at peace. Now, number one, babies will let you know. He's not the one. But from every photo that we have seen, he's the one. And the fact that he has a queen that bears witness to it, y'all don't even understand, man. I love y'all. I'm your brother. I'm really that, but I can't share all. I can't share all of that, but I am that. But I'm gonna say this: number one, until you're ready to truly be in community, you will not be a member of community. It's just about you. Period. The number one thing that makes an individual a member of a community is you will move beyond. You naturally, and actively, not forced, you will move beyond the boundaries of digital reality. You looking up and it's like, wait, when y'all get in town? Oh, we just was coming through. But you know, when something is an act, it's an act. And you know what we do with actors and actresses. We go on and hit the button. Call Sandman. They can go. And I'm really honest about that because I do that in my own life, in my own relationship. I don't like acting. I don't accept acting. If you're not genuine and sincere, you're gonna be mad with me. The marriage might be ugly and rocky. However, when you're ready to level up and be honest with yourself, and then be honest with me, then we can talk and then we can grow. But if you can't be honest with yourself first, we're gonna have some problems. And then guess what? I'm just being true. The marriage might be in jeopardy. Because you can't be honest with yourself first. So how can you ever be honest with me about how you truly feel about life with me?
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna yield because y'all know me.
Hey, Ashe, I love it. Give thanks, giving thanks, y'all. And Shar, we see your hand is up.
I had a reflection as the truth was speaking. I've said to Dre before, not as recently, but a while back, like I realized that the environment that we are in is our parents' village. It's the village they created.
Wow.
And we have not yet removed ourselves from their village and begun to create our own. So this space feels like community. This space feels like nature versus nurture, because the space that we are in has been nurture. This has been what we have come up in. This is where we were raised. This is all we have known. So we are still relying on this village that is no longer, it's not ours.
Right.
It's not ours.
Yes.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Y'all preaching tonight.
And you know what's funny about that? So it's funny because remember, we talked about this the other day when we were sitting at the table with everybody. And I said to my queen, I said, okay, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. We are no longer in their community, in their village of what they have. We have now moved into what we are building, even for our kids, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's so true. There's so much symmetry.
Yeah. Yeah. And Gemma agrees. So she's saying that.
Look, Gemma has to come and make her debut because Gemma is the reason we're on a Thursday call.
Right.
She is our future.
Yes.
And Brother Truth, I received your words so much tonight because not just for tonight, but when I talked to you about what was happening with my parents.
Ashe.
And talking about that transformation. This is it.
That's right.
Look at it.
Right.
It was
Look down, brother. Look down, Brother James. Look down, Brother James. Look down.
That is it.
You have become your father times 10.
My God.
You are healing generational bonds and bounds.
Yes.
See, sometimes we don't think about what we say and what we read. It's in the text.
Yeah.
We are healing generational hurt.
That's right.
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And this is what happens. Look, so the call is going on, and then here comes my daughter coming down.
They multiply. They just multiplying.
Ashe. That's what we're talking about. And see, you know what? You just did exactly what you were supposed to do. You put the family in the screen because guess what? That is the next lesson.
That's it.
Divine union produces family, and the family is the foundation of the community.
Ashe.
Bam.
Oh my goodness, y'all. This is just so I am full.
Yeah,
I am full. And y'all were preaching tonight. Okay. This was amazing. Amazing.
So many messages tonight.
Wow. We give thanks for you all. Give thanks for you all. With Letitia, we're gonna stay in lockstep with you, sis. You are carrying the energy of the collective.
Yes.
Okay. Through your process. All right. And just giving thanks for all the beautiful reflections tonight. Really and truly. So all right. We're gonna get into our wrap up with our affirmation.
Yeah, it should be, it's target.
Okay. All right. This is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
This was.
Okay, y'all. So if you're ready to unmute.
All right, family. I say this with a full heart.
Yeah.
Full heart. All right, here we go. I am grateful for the insights gained.
I am grateful
for the insights gained.
I carry the strength of our community with me.
I carry
the strength of our community with me.
I continue my journey with love and purpose.
I continue my journey with love and purpose.
Until we meet again in gratitude and growth.
Until we meet again
in gratitude and growth.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Love y'all.
Yes, we
love you all.
You all. Okay. Give thanks and have a great rest of the week.
Yes. Good night, everyone. Love you. God bless that sweet, precious baby.
Oh, thank you.
So cute. Good night.
Good night. Thanks.
We're off the